Hey, my name's Patrick and I'm training to be a lineman.
My name's Josh and I'm training to be a lineman.
Hey, I'm Thomas and I'm training to be a lineman.
Hey, my name is Maxim and I'm training to be a lineman.
Hey, my name's Logan and I'm on the training crew to become a lineman.
Hey, what's up guys? I hope you're all having a great week so far. We're just hanging out here at the office, going over some work orders on the computer, and the training crew just rolled in that's working in the area. So I often get messages from people that are interested in the trade or people that are just starting out in the trade asking for advice or even asking for some experiences that I've had back when I first started 20 years ago. And I thought to myself, who better to ask than the guys that are on the training crew? All right, so what kind of work have you guys been doing mostly so far?
We do new construction, so we set poles, frame poles, sag wire, and do everything up until the line needs to be energized.
I'd say we set around 70 or 80 poles in the last couple of months.
Most of our jobs, I think we had 2 jobs where we didn't set our own poles, and the rest of it, we set our own poles and pulled our wire and framed everything.
So we did transformer bank, a lot of transformers, padlock on the underground too.
We did 6 weeks at the start, just kind of classroom work and practicing in the training yard, just to kind of get our feet on the ground with the trade.
We climbed the 55-footer. That was the tallest pole we climbed so far.
So when you first, obviously one of the first bits of training becoming a lineman is learning how to climb a pole.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you? Do the heights bother you at all? I know lots of guys say they're not scared of heights and they get standing on a pole and things change pretty quick.
It's pretty crazy thinking back that we were all shaking on some 10-foot poles. We've definitely come a long way.
Well, when we first started, we started on the 20-footers. I found that I was really comfortable. And then the first couple times we went to the 40-foot, that was a little different. Feel a little more shaky, but after a few weeks, for the first 6 weeks, we climbed mostly every day.
Like even if you're 40 feet up, it's still like it's not scary anymore. But when we were in the yard climbing, it definitely took a bit of nerves. The first couple of weeks we were climbing, we got up to the neutral. We just locked our belt right in because we didn't want to move after that.
I always thought I wasn't scared of height either, and I had no big trouble learning how to climb. The first day I showed up with the Blundstone on, but after that I bought some steadier boots there, and climbing was quite easy compared to the Blundstone.
Yeah, the Blundstone safety boots. Yeah, a few guys wear them, but mostly the foremen that are on poles.
Yeah. Then we switched to the 40s there, and I remember first time I belt over the neutral was pretty scared there. It was I didn't think I was scared of height until I go up the 40s, but then we did it so much over and over in the training that we just didn't even realize how high we were, and we just concentrated on the work.
Have you ever kicked out?
Oh yeah, definitely.
How was that? The belt caught you pretty quick?
Yeah, belts always caught me.
Like we're climbing right next to each other. You can hear the guy right next to you spur out. If he spurs out, you can hear it. So you're like, okay, I could do that next. So you're extra cautious.
Yeah, the first couple times out in the training yard, it was new for sure, getting used to the belt and stuff like that. But if you gaff out, you don't fall through the fire with the belt we've got. We watched a few videos in class of the equipment of the past, and I'm pretty thankful for what we got.
How far would you say you dropped before the belt caught you?
Probably just a foot, not much. You just got to learn to trust your belt and trust your equipment.
After you trust your equipment and climb a little bit, it definitely it's like second nature. You're just up there and you don't even think about it. You can definitely see everybody's getting up there and with the speed and how to get in a better position. At first it's awkward, you're just working from everywhere and you're trying to not move, but you figure it out eventually that you're better off moving, getting in a better position, and everybody seems like good climbers for sure. It's very safety oriented too. We're always looking out for each other. We're big on the 5-foot rule when we're close to the bare pole.
So elaborate a little bit on the 5-foot rule.
So the 5-foot rule is when you're climbing a bare pole, after 5 feet, you just gotta wiggle your belt instead of flipping it over. Beginners would just look down at their spurs and not realize that they're coming at the end of the pole and they
go over the top.
Yeah,
definitely scary stuff. So do you guys have a spotter when you're first climbing someone watching you, and they give you a warning once you're at within 5 feet? And then you shimmy up that extra couple feet to say frame the cross arm at the top of the pole.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you like a third generation lineman? Was your father in the line trade, cousins, uncles? How did you find about the trade?
I started as an electrician, and I wanted to go at line school when I was 18 coming out of high school, but I wasn't too sure, so I said I'm going to start off as an electrician at first, and figured out I loved the concept of electricity and saw some linemen working, and I called some linemen that my family knew and interviewed them pretty much, and I figured out that I was going to apply, and I applied my first year, and luckily I got in.
I was formerly an electrician, and every electrician's dream is to be a lineman. You tell them you're a lineman, they're like, oh, I wish I did that back in the day. So I heard it from a couple people, I looked into it, and it's everything I ever wanted it to be.
I took a couple years of electrical engineering at UMB. I'm a hands-on guy, so
Nice.
I kind of stumbled across this, and here I am.
I've been thinking about it for a while. When I was in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Then one day my dad started talking about it, and I got interested. Then I went to college in electrical for Plan B. Then I worked for about 7 or 8 months, and then I got in here. So
I've never heard of trade before until last summer. My cousin told me it's a nice trade to get in. I looked into it and I thought, oh well, might as well apply for the course. Just got out of high school before taking the course, so never done construction in the meantime, that's it.
And no regrets so far?
Nope.
Nice. So through the application process, there's quite a bit of testing. When I went through, there was some math, there was some aptitude testing. Did you do anything to prepare for those tests, or you just wing it?
Well, no, I didn't really do anything to prepare. I was already in pretty great shape for the physical test, and I just got out of high school, so I was still pretty
fresh with the math. Yeah, nice.
So I didn't do anything and still did great on everything.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of a common answer from a lot of people, even when I went through. If you're fresh out of high school, you can walk in and pass that stuff no problem. Yeah. If you're 30, 40 years old, you might want to grab a book and brush up on your algebra skills a little bit. What kind of math stuff was on it? Algebra, trigonometry?
Yeah, mostly that. I'm French there, and I don't know all those term names, so I had to do a lot of guesses, just translating. So I'd do like whatever the formula would be in French, and I'd take whatever answer would be the closest for what I thought would be a
bit of a disadvantage for you with the language barrier, but you made it through. No problem.
This was my second year applying, same with a lot of the guys. So last year I was unsuccessful, this year successful. So yeah, you definitely got to train. Physical test is demanding. You got to be able to run 10 on the beep test. You got to be able to hold yourself over a plank for 3 minutes, 50 push-ups, all that kind of stuff, and you got to be smart. They cut you down if you don't make the requirements. I took calculus and stuff. It's nothing too advanced. It's Pythagorean theorem, some geometry, like finding x if you need to, x an equation, all that kind of stuff.
Well, like I mentioned, I just came out of my second year engineering, so I was pretty brushed up on my math. I think I was pretty confident in that part, but there was like a reading comprehension part too. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, I studied up a little bit for that. So.
Okay, and is there still an aptitude test that you have to do as well?
Yeah, so first was, like you said, it was the math and the English testing, and then we had the height anxiety test a couple months later, which was just pass or fail. So they take you out back, you climb the top of the pole, and then you take your belt, you put it around, and they just make you lean back and touch either side of a cross arm, just to make sure you're not gonna freeze up there. Or something
make sure
like
you're comfortable.
So that was just a pass or fail thing, and then after that, if you move to the next stage, you had the aptitude testing, which was deep tests, push-ups. You had to do a cross arm hold for a certain amount of time, high jump, grip test, and back extension. I think that was all of them. And then they just, based on your height and weight, they took your scores for each of these exercises and then gave you a number based on your performance.
And the highest numbers get picked.
Yep, all that goes into how you're selected.
And do they still have a medical as well, where they do an eye exam?
Yeah, after you're done the aptitude, they took you up to see a doctor, and she did like some basic medical testing. Like they took your blood pressure, and they did a little eye test, and just like some basic muscle movements, I think, like how far you can turn your head and stuff like that.
For the written test, they gave practices online that you can do on your own time. I found that helped a lot.
Oh, nice.
It's been a couple of years since high school, so was a nice refresher for that. And the height test, well, I didn't know. I just went there and everything went well. And for the physical, just be ready, be in shape, and be ready to run and all sorts of things. Just got to be ready for it, I guess.
How many people applied? What was the competition like to get in?
I heard something around 200, but I'm not sure.
What's your favorite part about the trade so far?
Just camaraderie. Just it's a team. I just love it. The communication. You can't do anything on your own. Like, it's very safety oriented too.
A lot of the line trade said that you are your brother's keeper, and couldn't be more true. You're making sure your guy doesn't fall off the pole. You're ready to rescue him if he does. You're sending stuff up constantly. You always need to be communicating with the guy on the pole, or even in the bucket if you're working with your journeyman. And you never want to see any of your brothers get hurt or anything. You want to make sure they're all safe, so you check all your PPE, make sure everybody's doing fine.
Well, like you say, it really is a brotherhood, because like there's 12 of us all together, and like within the first few weeks of our class, we were all pretty close and getting along. And now that we're actually out doing the job, you really got to watch out for each other, because even doing what we're doing, the new construction, there's lots of hazards.
Well, safety is always the number one priority, I think. We always make sure if something's not safe, we take a step back and we look for solution. If not, we don't do the work, and we find another way to do the work, but safely.
Any advice for young men or women that are interested in getting into the trade?
Try hard in school. Make sure you have that math and English to be able to complete the aptitude testing. Make sure you're not scared of heights. It's probably not the trade for you if you're scared of heights. And big one is keep in shape your whole life. It's a lot easier to do this kind of work if you're in shape.
Definitely, it's a physical job. Like, definitely be in shape, but it's not. You don't have to run marathons or anything. Just be in shape and just be ready to write a quiz. Like, the quiz isn't a Harvard test, but it is still decently hard. But the biggest thing is just, I tell people, like my buddies that are thinking about it, just do it.
Just go for it.
If you don't get in, you don't. If you do, well, here you go. You got your shot, and just don't think about it. Just if that's what you want to do, go for it.
Just be ready to. There's a lot of physical works, and got to be ready to work at heights and trust your equipment.
Well, you can always apply. That's the best thing you can do. And to get prepared, well, I'd say running's the best thing you can do for getting prepared physically, and just revise some algebra and just some reading comprehension. And
do your research before you apply and decide to get fully into it. You know what it's all about. Make sure it's for you before you start, because I know a couple people who did apply, and they went through all the process, and then they got to that height anxiety, and they said, no, this isn't for me.
This isn't for me, yeah.
And the instructors talked about a couple people that, through the years have, looked like they'd be just fine, and then all of a sudden they up and decided to leave because they said it's not for them. So.
No, that's great advice. I had a guy that was on the training crew when I started that bailed out halfway through.
Yep.
I ran into him a few weeks later,
Yep.
and he was quite upset that he quit. And basically what I told him was, you tried it, now you know. You don't have to go on wondering and saying, geez, I wish I had taken on that course, or I always want to be a lineman.
Yeah.
He tried it, it wasn't for him, and he carried on with the new path in life.
Exactly, you never know till you know, I guess.
Thanks, Logan, for the interview. I hope to see you in the field in the future, and be safe.
Thanks a lot.
All right, man.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sure.
All right, man. It's great to meet you, Maxim.
Yeah, nice to meet you
Your
too.
left hand shake.
All right.
Awesome, Josh. I appreciate the interview.
Sir.
Right on. Thanks,
you.
man.
Thanks,
All right. Best of luck. Be safe in your
Be safe.
training. Don't be scared to ever reach out if you have any questions.
Right on.
And I look forward to hopefully seeing you working out in the field.
Perfect.
I'm sure we'll cross paths in a storm one of these days.
Probably.
And best of luck, man.
best of luck to you too.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks.